Chris Miller has been helping Vitol to manage the quality of business and performance within the team. As part of the FSQT, obviously I've took on that role this year. But the good news for you guys is I trained Chris on how to do the job. Yeah, so you should find very little difference between Chris and myself. But Vitol's made it very clear there. My function as FSQO is to help you guys understand the importance of quality. Yeah. What I say to every advisor, and I mean this most sincerely, is I want you to be successful. Yeah. I want you to go out there and sell. I want you to see as many customers as you want to and as you can do. Obviously, when I say go out and do it, I'm talking about online at the moment, as we know. Yeah. But I want you to be successful, but in a quality manner. Yeah. So what you will find is, as long as everything is of good quality, you probably won't hear from me. In all honesty, the only time you'll hear is when your annual review is due. So if you do everything correct, you probably get no contact from the FSQT whatsoever. Yeah. But if something goes wrong, that's where we step in. So what I'm going to spend hopefully the next half an hour, 35 minutes doing is try and help you to avoid going wrong. Yeah. So that you don't have any contact from me. Yeah. Which is all good. It's the old adage, if you don't hear from me, everything is fine. That's the way to think about it. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a couple of little mini presentations with you. Please, if you can hold your questions for now until I'm finished, and then 5 minutes at the end, I can do a round robin of any questions that people might have, if that's okay. Yeah. So in order to help you understand this, I'm going to share my screen, and so you can see what I am talking about, and consequently what what it is that will help you to understand. Okay, so let me just switch that on now. And the bit I'm going to do is, first of all, if I can get to the correct screen, there we go, is the online sales process. I thought that was an important place to start because this is currently the tool that we have. Currently the tool that we have in order to do our sales. Okay, so hopefully everybody can see my screen there. Can I just get a confirmation, Vitol, please?
Yes, it's fine.
Yes, great stuff, thank you. So, and if you can stay on mute, please.
Yes, Jeff, you have to do it because you are the host.
Right, fair enough. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay, thank you.
There we go. Found it. Gotcha. Right, there we are. All sorted. So thank you for that, Vitol. So yeah, as I said, I'm going to start on the online sales process. This is the tool that we have in order to complete business with our clients, okay, or with your clients. Now, the fortunate bit for you guys, and I say this to all advisors, is a lot of companies, because of the pandemic, because of lockdown, have decided that they cannot deal with clients. So they've had to put staff onto furlough, or even worst case scenario, make them redundant. Yeah. We, on the other hand, have come up with an alternative to the face-to-face sales process. Now, I'm not about to say that the online sales process is better than the face-to-face process, because it's not. Yeah, we all enjoy meeting people. We all enjoy sitting down, having a cup of tea, having a chat with them, find out about the family and the kids and all of that kind of thing. So doing it online is more difficult. I'm not going to argue that. But from a quality and compliance point of view, as long as you stick to the online sales process, then you should come across no issues whatsoever. So I just want to cover a couple of main points with the sales process where I've seen mistakes made, and that will help you to prevent yourself from making those same mistakes. Because in essence, for those people who are using the online sales process, I'm sure you'll realize that the fundamental parts of selling are exactly the same. whether you're doing it using the online process or whether you're doing it face-to-face. Technology is different, obviously, but administration is a little bit different as well. And it's mainly the administration which has caused some breaches and some errors. So I'm going to cover those and hopefully prevent those from happening for you. Yeah. So the first part is what I would class within your introduction, as you can see there. The introduction involves, prior to the meeting, sending an email. Yeah. Then going through the documents within that email and asking for the client's permission to retain their data. Yeah. And that is the area which is causing a little bit of a problem. So first thing is, on the OWL portal, yeah, you must use the most up-to-date GDPR document. Now, it was updated last in April of 2019, and what it says in the SAF is that you can use a previous declaration as long as the document has not changed. Okay, so if you saw a client since April of 2019 and you already have a signed GDPR declaration on file, then you don't need to get a new one, and you don't need to get the client to send you an email. Okay, if you saw that client prior to April of 2019, then you do need to either get a new signed and scanned declaration emailed over to you, yeah, or you need to get them to email the statement. Okay, and as it says in the guidance here, if I go down to data protection, that's the wording that you need back from the client. It's not sufficient for them to send you an email saying, I agree. It must include that wording. And as it says there, you must get an email confirmation from both clients if it's a joint meeting. Yeah, obviously, if they use the same email address, that's fine. Just make sure that both names are clearly shown on the email. And just one little pointer, when you attach it to OWS, make sure that the date and time of the declaration is clearly visible on the image that you save. I've seen a few instances where, as well as a few examples where they've put I agree, I've seen a few examples where there is no date on the email that they've received. So I know certainly with my iPhone, if I receive an email, it will collapse the sender's details. So it won't show me when I look at the body of the email, the date and the time. So you have to expand that part at the top before you take a screenshot of it and then attach it as an image to OWS. Okay, so that's the first part of the sale of the technical part of the sales process, administration part of the sales process. But get it right, and then you won't get breached. So just remember, April 2019, document changed. You need a new one if you have not seen your client since then. Okay, that's the first one. Then you get into the normal sales process online, which you do the same as what you do face-to-face. So, you know, fact finding, a needs analysis, solution builder, obviously cover the special care part and all of that kind of thing. Now, the other area which is clearly documented in the online sales process here, I just want to touch on, is replacement business, because this again goes back to administration and documentation. As you all know, you cannot recommend replacements other than the two examples which are quoted in the SAF. Yeah, I think everybody's clear on that, so I'm not going to dwell on that. And where you are made aware that the client is thinking about cancelling their existing policy, yeah, you must ask them to give you the reasons why, which you would record in part 2 of the replacement business form. And the replacement business form, a bit like the GDPR, either needs to be emailed to the client with the reasons why filled in, and then printed off, signed and scanned and emailed back to you, or a bit like the GDPR, as you can see here, you can get an email consent from the client confirming that it's their decision, that it's not because of your advice, which it wouldn't be anyway, yeah? But where it is an email consent means that you need to attach to OWS both the replacement form with part 2 filled in and the email declaration. Both parts are needed, okay? If both parts are not on there, then that could lead to you being classed as breaching the sales process. Okay, so just to repeat, for replacement business using the online sales process, you either need a signed and completed replacement business form, and when I say completed, I mean part 2 completed, yeah, or you need a completed replacement business form unsigned together with an email confirmation. And again, a bit like the GDPR, make sure that the date and time of receipt of that email is clearly visible when you attach an image of it to the submission header for replacement business. Okay. The rest of the online process is the same as it always has been. Probably the biggest thing, culture shock, that you might have encountered and you got used to is how to share your screen, a bit like I'm sharing my screen here today, because linked in with that is very important part is the medical disclosures. Yeah, I know that it says in the SAF that it is best. In fact, I think it says it in this guide as well. Says that it is best practice to share your screen. Okay, I would go further than that. I would say that you must share your screen when you are applying for an underwritten product, because with the best will in the world, a lot of your clients will be foreign, where English is not their first language, and so it will definitely help them to understand what the medical question is if they can also see it as well as hear you ask it. Yeah. So please, if you are doing an underwritten policy to one of the providers that you have, whether you're panel or single tie, when you get to that point, as you click on the apply button, you should be sharing your screen. And as I said, I would say even must be sharing your screen with the client to make sure that you gather that information correctly. Because let's be honest, on the subject of disclosures, and I had a discussion with Vitold about this yesterday, all of us want the same outcome. What we want is clients to buy policies which they will have confidence in being able to claim on in the future. Now, the only way they can be confident of that is by full disclosure. So if they don't understand what full disclosure is, it's your job to educate them. And if they are unable to answer the questions accurately, it's your job to, I would say, even in some instances, postpone the meeting either until they can get the answers, or, as you may sometimes need to do, until you get clarity from the provider. Don't be afraid to ring the provider up and say, I've got a client who's told me about this condition, but I can't find where to put it on the application form. Yeah, they are there to help you because they want the same outcome as you and as the client. I always say the worst thing that can happen is that a client's spouse rings you up 2 years later, 3 years later, and says, my husband's died or my wife has died. I want to claim on the policy. You help them to go through that process and it gets declined because either something that you didn't do fully or something that the client didn't understand. Yes, you're always going to have instances where a client might think it's not important, or they might think, well, it's personal, I don't want to tell you. Yeah. But it's your job to educate them very strongly that it is important that you get full disclosure. Okay. Because failure to disclose, as we all know, could affect the future claim. Yeah. They could end up paying 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds a month for, a number of years, only to find out that they can't have the money because they haven't been fully honest at the beginning. So really focus on that. The other side to disclosures is the providers monitor disclosures. Yeah. So what the providers do is if they see a high percentage of your applications are clean, and what I mean by that, they don't have any medical disclosures. Yeah. They get a little bit worried, a little bit anxious about it. Yeah. Not because they don't believe you, but because they think, does the client understand the questions? Yeah. So they have two routes to follow that through. Yeah. Two main routes. They can issue what's called post-sale AMRAs. Yeah. So they can issue an AMRA to a client asking them to give the consent to obtain medical records. Yeah. And then they will compare the medical records against the application they've received. Yeah. your responsibility as advisor, if you get notified by your microsites that post-sale AMRAs have been issued, then you must follow up the client to make sure they get returned, yeah? Because the providers have every right, if those post-sale AMRAs are not returned, they have every right to cancel the policies. Yeah? And as I'm sure you all know, if they cancel the policy, you will get a clawback, as well as the client not being protected. So please, if you're aware that post-sale AMRAs have been issued, follow them up. The second part to that is, if the non-disclosure rate is low, yeah, or there is an issue with the quality of the business as measured by the provider, they will ask us to conduct individual one-to-ones with you guys, yeah, and that is to try and satisfy them that it's not an issue which is being caused by you, yeah. So for anybody who's gone through that process, you will know that we'll have a one-to-one. We'll ask you to explain to us what the sales process is with regards to medical, yeah, might even observe you live with a client, okay? It's all so that we can satisfy the provider that there is nothing to worry about, yeah? The rest of it is down to you as far as the business that you submit, yeah? So if you do find that you have a one-to-one with any of us saying that your disclosure rate is a bit low, then, you know, unfortunately, you either need to just think, am I asking these questions more properly, yeah? Or, you know, even, and it sounds quite bizarre this, but you might have customers that you think, right, they might not qualify for this product through this provider, but I'm going to try them anyway because it will improve my disclosure rate with that provider, yeah? So, you know, look after your agency by making sure that you are gathering medical information as accurately as you possibly can. Okay, so that's the online sales process. I think everybody will agree it's straightforward, not too different to the standard process, other than for the administration parts that I've just spoken about there. Yeah. Now, as long as you do that right and you record it all correctly on OWS, that should lead to no issues with AQT. But unfortunately, we do see issues with AQT, and the majority of issues with AQT revolve around notes and documentation. Okay, so I'm going to cover both of those quite succinctly. Yeah, notes. Golden rule with notes is, if it's unusual, explain it. So if something is not straightforward, you should have a note on explaining it on there. Yeah. And that could be, if you're a panel advisor, why you've chosen the third provider on the list rather than the first provider on the list, or if you've done a term which is different to the shortfall calculator, why you've done that. You know, if the client has decided on whole of life, for example, where they already have, where they have other short-term needs, you need to explain why you've gone down the route of whole of life rather than short-term needs, yeah? Now, the majority of the time, it's going to be based on cost, and that is absolutely fine, yeah? If a customer's got a limited budget and they can't afford critical illness because they are 55 years old, but they can afford whole of life, yeah, because of their age, for the amount of premium that they have available, that is perfectly satisfactory justification as to why you've not taken any action about critical illness or about income protection for that matter as well, yeah? But you just need to put notes. So anything that's unusual, anything that, easiest way is, if you think somebody else would look at your case and would understand it, then you don't need any notes. If there's something you think you need to explain, yeah, put a note on, okay? The other part is documentation. Now, AQT will look for the GDPR declarations, they will look for the replacement forms, both parts if necessary, and they will also look for, which is probably the most common error that we see, is they will look to see that the illustration on file matches to the suitability report that you've produced, okay? So what I mean by that is, if you go to the advice summary and say, for example, you've done a Vitality product. I'll pick that one because that's an easy one. Very rarely will the end product from Vitality be the same as the quote that you've done through Solution Builder, because there are that many different options that are included within within Vitality when you apply for it. So best practice is to download the illustration produced from the provider, attach it to submission header, and then change the advice summary screen to reflect the change of premium and also the optional benefits that have been included by ticking the appropriate boxes. Okay, so just remember that when you are consolidating your sale, what AQT will look for is that there is justification for why you've done what you've done, so that's notes, and also what you've actually documented is correct in line with what you've quoted. Now, I often get asked, do I need to upload an illustration where the premium has been rated, for example? Yeah. So you apply for a policy which is £30, it comes back and says it's going to be £40. Yeah. As far as the SAF is concerned, there is no need to do so. Yeah, because that is the provider's decision. Yeah. And all it means is that the client will receive a suitability letter saying that the premium is £30. Yeah. Now, if you're happy enough to explain to them verbally that they will get a welcome pack confirming that it's actually £40 a month, that's fine. Yeah. If you want to make the suitability letter correct so that it shows £40, then remember that you need to attach an updated illustration showing that it is £40 a month instead of £30, and you need to change the premium on the advice summary screen, because the information on the advice summary screen is what drives the content of the suitability letter. Okay, so if you just remember that, hopefully what that will mean is you will get more cases checked by AQT which are right first time. So I'm going to finish on AQT with one final bit, which is if you receive an email from AQT or indeed from Governance Department for a quality call asking for clarification or further information, please do not ignore them. Okay? They have a job to do, the same as you have a job to do, the same as I have a job to do. Okay? If they cannot complete that job because they have not received a response from yourselves, they will classify that as a breach of process. Okay? So quality is key, and when I say quality is key, that means from both the advice you give and from the administration around that advice. Okay.
Jeff, excuse me. Can you put on mute Szymon and Grzegorz because there are some background noises?
No problem.
Oh, great, thank you. I'm not able to do it because you're a host now.
That's all right. There we go. Done. Okay. So that is. Oh, there we go. Right. So looks like we're running short on time. So Witold, I don't know if you want to stop this and we restart it again.
No, please continue 5 minutes, and after we do a break
Okay.
for 2 to 5 minutes. Okay.
Well, finishing my part, the last bit I wanted to cover was, and I don't need to share for this one, so I'll stop sharing now. The last thing I wanted to cover was annual competence reviews. At some point this year, you will all need to take part in an annual competence review. And for those of you who've been here for more than a year, you'll know that that involves you receiving an email, telling you when it's going to be, and obviously giving you information and guidance to take you to the portal to get prepared for it. Okay, so I always ask, please make sure you prepare yourself fully for your annual review. The annual review format, for those who haven't experienced, will be role play. Okay, so with your invitation, you will receive a case study, which you will key into the OWS system in advance of your review, and the assessor will be the client. And so what we always say is treat us as a client who doesn't know anything about what you are going to do. So what I mean by that is anything you would normally explain to a client, explain to us. Anything you would normally show a client by sharing your screen, then show it to us. So treat it as a normal client meeting, okay? And the way that we do them within the FSQT is, even though I am the supervisor who works with Vitold, yeah, you could be assessed by any of the FSQOs within the team, okay? The reason we do that very simply is on some months, we have situations where one FSQO might have 25 annual reviews to do, another FSQO might only have 3, because they obviously fall due at different times of the year. So rather than having one FSQO who has got lots and lots to do each month and that month, and one who's got very little, we share the workload out. Simple as that. Yeah. So just because you're in Vitold's team, and just because a lot of you may well obviously know me from years gone by, yeah. Unfortunately, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to have your review with me. But rest assured, whoever you have your review with, it'll be done in a consistent manner with very much the onus on you. Yeah. Remember, you are the advisor. We are the assessor stroke client. Yeah. There are 3 very good videos on the portal now, for whether you're single tide or panel, yeah, which give a clear demonstration of what an online meeting looks like. Yeah. Please, regardless of your experience, watch those videos to get yourself prepared for your review, because we want you to pass first time. We don't want to fail you and suspend you. Yeah, we want you to pass first time so that you can carry on being successful as an advisor. Yeah. So that's the way the assessments will work. There will be role play. You'll get notified when, and it could be anybody within the team. Okay. So I'm going to finish off three little bits that Vitold asked me to comment on. First of all, CPD. Yeah. CPD, please do not wait until August to do it. Yeah. CPD should be something you do on an ongoing basis. So when you do have your annual review, yeah, that time is CPDable. So you'll find that on your CPD account, there will be an activity which has been actioned after you've had your annual review with us, which you need to mark as complete. Once you mark it as complete, that will count towards your 15 hours. Yeah. Any meetings that you attend, webinars with providers, those can count towards CPD. Your annual regulatory tests will count towards CPD. Yeah. I know we all did a regulatory test in December. The title of it escapes me for the time being, but that will be on your CPD record, ready to complete. Okay. So rather than wait until August and then chase up emails saying if you don't do it, you're going to get suspended, please, take 5, 10, 15 minutes at the beginning of every month and just look at your CPD record, mark things complete that have already been actioned, see how many more hours you need to do. And certainly what I would encourage is when you do attend a webinar, yeah, add that onto your CPD manually once you've completed that webinar, and then that way you won't forget to do so. Okay, so hopefully what we'll find is come August of this year, Vitold will not be chasing you all up to get your CPD complete, and you'll get a report saying that everybody has completed a minimum of 15 hours. So that's that one. Clawback rates. I want to congratulate and applaud all of you as a team on clawbacks. Yeah. Yes, a couple of you have got a little bit of an issue with their clawback percentages, but we're not talking huge amounts of policies. Yeah. As a team, you are on 6.2% clawback rate in the last 12 months. So let me put that another way. You have retained 94% of the business that's been written within the last 12 months. And that is outstanding. That is exceptional. Okay. And there's only one reason, one main reason that has been done, and that is because of you guys. Yeah. Because you've sold the policies properly to people who understand why they are important, that they can afford them, which is why they pay them, because they know what the benefit of those policies will be when they need to claim. Yeah. The other bit you've done is to keep in contact with them regularly. Very easy in this current climate to think, oh, I'm going to lose lots of business because people are going to lose their jobs. Yeah, absolutely, that could happen. But if you keep in regular contact with them to reassure them of the benefits of those policies, yeah, remind them that if it is, if it's possible, they can actually reduce the amount of cover if they can no longer continue to afford the premiums. Yeah, that will show us a slight reduction in your commission if that was to happen, but it'll not affect your clawback rates because you'll still be retaining the policy. But speak to your customers regularly, which is what you evidently have been doing. Because if you are retaining 94% of business, that is exceptional. So well done to all of you on that basis. One improvement that you can make as a team, or some people can make as individuals, is income protection. It is the hardest policy to sell, yeah? And there are a number of you who have not sold income protection in the last 12 months, okay? Now, half of those people that haven't sold it are actually panel providers who have got access to that product from 7 or 8 different providers, okay? Now, I'm not going to go and be dismissive and say, surely you must have been able to sell one, because it's not an easy product to sell, especially now that providers are changing their, minimum deferred periods, occupation categorization and all that kind of thing, yeah? But please, even if you just sell one income protection policy in a year, yeah, that keeps you off my figures as an advisor who hasn't sold any income protection. I know that sounds very blasé, but it is as simple as that. Sell one, yeah, it'll take you off my list, okay? So surely with all the clients you've got, you can find a client who not only wants to protect their income, but would qualify to protect their income as well. So in a nutshell, with Vittold, we are going to work together to look after the quality of what you guys do. But the quality of what you do sits very firmly with you, yeah? So do the job well, do the best by the clients, yeah? Do it in line with the sales process and the suitability advice framework, then guess what? You will not hear from the FSQT from one year to the next. Sound good?
Sounds good, yeah, of course.
Good. In that case, that's me done, Vittold.
Yeah, I just would like to add something to that.
Yeah.
Just one more thing, that the correspondence that we're receiving from the head office is crucial. So because now the process is like that you will not respond in a proper amount of time. Usually it's 5 working days. You could be even suspended, okay? But at least you will have a breach points for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that we are all busy and it's quite difficult to catch up all emails that we're receiving, but it's your responsibility. I'm trying to help you with that, but I'm not always copy in to all your correspondence. And as well, I've got 30 people to cover, so it's quite difficult. But that's the end. Jeff, I would like to thank you for today's meeting. We are rushing time. Sorry for that, but I think it was, nutshell and everything was covered. Thank you for that all for being here today. And we will definitely hear you again. That's what we would like to do, because it's a very important part of our work, quality. Okay.
You're thank you. Welcome. Lovely to see you all. Have a great year.